Well, good Monday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Let's get open for business here and let's wake up the football gods. How's everybody doing on this hangover, Monday morning hangover? Bad things happen to the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to the Green Bay Packers that make no rhyme or reason. There's the catch, no catch. There's the Matt Flynn 26-3 at halftime comeback. And now there's the Aaron Rodgers 28-14 comeback against the Cowboys. Let's pump the brakes a little bit here. We got some issues. I feel like some of the things that we used to have problems-wise with the Cowboys reared their ugly head yesterday. If we go back to the San Francisco 49ers playoff loss, one of the big problems in that was we gave up 166 yards on the ground to San Francisco. When you can run the football, you got a lot of great things that will happen. And we were able to run the football yesterday. Not quite as effective as the Green Bay Packers, but we did run the ball. The problem is we could not stop the run. We gave up 170 yards in the fourth quarter. Now, I got people that are saying, we should have put Cooper Rush in. Cooper Rush, man, we weren't having this kind of shit with Cooper Rush. Well, mind you, I want to say, when Cooper Rush played, and people forget about that Eagles games where he had one TD pass and 3 interceptions. And that was against the Eagles, which may be the best team in football. And maybe, although the Minnesota Vikings are making their case right now to be moving up in there. And hell, the New York Giants, that game gets to be really, really important right now. If there's any good news from yesterday, at the moment, we went from the 5th seed to the 6th seed, in which case we would be playing the Seattle Seahawks versus playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I feel like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are a team that's about to get right and to get back on track. Be that as it may, there's still a chance the 49ers end up catching them, but we'll see what happens with them. We have problems on the ground. We also have problems with the wide receiving core. I know people will look and just say, it's all Dak. Dak stinks. We still have very young receivers as far as our tight ends go, and Peyton Hendershot, as well as Jake Ferguson, Jalen Tolbert, who had a terrible penalty in there. We want to believe that Noah Brown is a great receiver, but, like they called it in training camp, you had CeeDee Lamb and a bunch of guys. And I'm not sure that this group of guys as currently constructed, while Michael Gallup is still not 100%. Seeing him go down in the end zone, you sit there and say, oh, my God, this guy did just come back from an ACL. And I don't know if Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be the answer as well. I don't know if he is or not, because he's another guy coming back from ACL. But we have to do better than what we did with the receiving core. Dak had 2 interceptions. One, I think, was on him. The other one, I think, was miscommunication. But be that as it may, we scored enough points to win. Defense is getting a little nicked up. You see Jordan Lewis, as much as people want to say I'm sick of Anthony Brown, when Anthony Brown went out and you got Kellen Joseph out there, Kellen Joseph is not better than Anthony Brown. Now all of a sudden you're getting players that are making plays down there, and you can't stop the run. The trend here, and let me pull this on over here. This is where it gets to be kind of scary, because the trend right now, these are our games here. These are the yards that we've given up. We gave up 152 to, boy, I got the camera up too high. 152 to Tampa Bay, which we know was lost. We beat Cincinnati with 89. We beat the Giants with 167. We beat the Commanders with 142. We destroyed the Rams at 38. Then the Eagles got 136. We beat the Lions at 117. The Bears got 240. And the Packers got 207. And now you're facing Dalvin Cook. Now you're facing Dalvin Cook. Let me make an adjustment here. This is Broadcast Media on a Hangover Monday. Okay, that's a little bit better. We can't give up yards like that on the ground. We can't give up yards like that on the ground. And we're going to have to do one of two things. We're going to either have to figure out how to stop the run, or we're going to need to get into leads and force teams to be one-dimensional. I don't know at this point that you're going to be, we got Hankins that we just signed. Maybe we're putting too much on him to help stop the run. Tristan Hill was one of our better graded run stoppers. We let him go. I'm not sure what the answer is on that. And as far as Micah Parsons goes, I'm trying to figure out, is he nicked up to the point where they're saying we need to give you some rest from that edge rushing, and that's why we've got him out in coverage and playing middle linebacker, or what? We also have problems with Leighton Vander Esch, who is a little bit slow and happens to be carried down the field like Jalen Smith. A lot of the times we see the initial contact being made at the point of attack, but they're still pushing the pile 2, 3, 4, 5 yards after contact. And I'm not sure what the fix is on this one. So our defense seems to be a little bit nicked up and a little bit in disarray, and teams are realizing you have to run the ball. And again, we got Dalvin Cook coming up this weekend, followed by we have Barkley coming up in there. We're going to have against the Tennessee Titans, Derrick Henry. We've got to get this shit solved real quick. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull the Band-Aid off here and listen to Get Up This Morning after praising the Cowboys. We know that they're going to bury the Cowboys. And this gets to be interesting where Ryan Clark literally has to walk off set.
Can't hold on to that. The mistakes, the penalties, etc. Did you see things that concern you from a Cowboys standpoint?
This is how the Cowboys lose. The Cowboys lose being undisciplined, whether you like the calls or not. The Cowboys lose because the team says, you know what, we're going to continue to run the ball no matter what stage the game is in. And the Cowboys lose because, as Dan said earlier, maybe Dak Prescott is just the guy. And I don't mean that in a negative way, right? When he came back, we said, keep doing what you were doing with Cooper Rush. You expect to be better because Dak Prescott is a better quarterback, but don't change what you're doing. Be that team that played the same way with the other 21 players. And now we see Dak Prescott. There's the interception in the red zone. There's another interception. But then you see the good things. Tony Pollard, so much juice, right? CeeDee Lamb seems like he's hearing the whispers that Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be a Dallas Cowboy at some point. He steps up. But we watch the Green Bay Packers say, we know what you can't do. You can't stop the run. And also, we'll attack you on the back end. We got to realize the pass to Allen Lazard is on a rookie because Jordan Lewis is now out in the slot.
That's fair.
You're getting injured on the back end. And so this is cause for concern, and the Cowboys have to get things.
I want to just show you something before I let Dan talk about Dak, because I can show you just how much he is struggling.
Don't do that. No. Nah, I quit.
Dak Prescott
yesterday
Tad is not going to like this
on
one.
3rd and 4th downs His numbers were the worst we have seen from any quarterback since Tim Tebow. Ryan Clark is walking out of the studio. The numbers are what the numbers are.
I want Cowboys fans to know I did not make that graphic, okay? Just so you guys know. I think like this is a real conversation, though, Greeny. It's a warranted conversation. They need him to, at some point, outplay the guy across the sideline who's a really good player. You know, that's a real thing.
Yeah. Can
we play the clip of the interceptions? Because this is where I think there's an issue a little bit with him and their offense, and it's a little bit attached to CeeDee Lamb. So this first one, I honestly believe is on the tight end. He has to go across that safety's face and protect the ball. The second one, I actually think is on Dak Prescott. So
Here's
this is
the first
that first
again.
one.
Dalton Schultz
the
is the
second
tight
one,
end.
you're going to see a safety in the middle of the field, okay? This is cover 2. He's got a middle read. That safety in the middle of the field, he's either thinking that CeeDee is going to, like, hook up in front of him or break across, but I don't believe that's a throw that Dak should make. Because there's so much, if the safety was low and went high, we're having a different conversation. But he's high and kind of just waiting there. That's a forced throw in that situation, and it's a huge turnover. Like, Dak has got to play better than the really good quarterback on the opposite side of the field. So, you know, like, the reality for this offense is they got out-physicaled. I think their spacing on offense was really poor. I think there's, as much as I love CeeDee's freedom, sometimes that freedom gets them into a little bit of trouble, and the lack of communication with him and the quarterback hurt them a little bit yesterday.
First off, Tad, I just want you to know that Ryan Clark had nothing to do with that graphic. Had I even known they were going to show that, Tad, I wouldn't even did this stinking show. Because to do that is just – but you know what?
You would have done it.
Dan makes such a great point, and you want to fight it, right? Because I think we all waiting for Dak to take that next step up and become a part of that elite tier, which he looked like at the beginning of the season last year. We watched him outduel these type of quarterbacks and have this team in those games. But we're not seeing it with Dak this year. We're not seeing it since he's come back from the injury. And so when you watch this team, Dak was supposed to take him to that next step that Cooper Rush couldn't after winning 4 or 5 games starting, and we didn't see that yesterday. And whether it's the Dallas Cowboys defense not making those impact plays and getting him the ball late, or just Dak Prescott not making the play that you need.
Thanks for watching ESPN.
Yeah, and this is where Dak, you know, it's a raw effing deal, but you're going to get the blame when they lose. That's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And you're always going to have Cooper Rush that people are going to say, trade Dak and start Cooper Rush and everything else. That's the life of being a starting NFL quarterback. And, you know, Dak didn't have a great game, although I'll take 3 touchdown passes with the 2 interceptions. We got to do better as a team. Now, this is the NFL, not for long. Shit happens. Shit happens. Teams lose. Kansas City lost to the Colts. The Bills lost to the Vikings yesterday at home. The Cowboys continue to lose to the Green Bay Packers. It happens. Now, maybe, just maybe, the Cowboys coming out of the bye week, figuring they were healthy, figuring they were playing a wounded animal, figuring that there was this love fest for Mike McCarthy and that they were just going to go in there and stomp the Green Bay Packers. The Green Bay Packers understanding it's do or die time. If we don't do this now, if we don't find a way to punch them in the mouth and get a victory, then the season is done. And they rose to the occasion. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. So there's no time to lick the wounds on here. You got to get ready for the Minnesota Vikings, who are feeling good about themselves and now all of a sudden one of the best teams in football. So lick your wounds and get ready to get up off the mat and fight. I'm Mark Holmes, and, well, this is not the day that we wanted, but for some reason I kind of felt this coming.
Our coach here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe for the Sports Report.